Again, it is a nonpartisan, non-political effort. It is purely the education of your businesses throughout this state so that that number of 12,000 companies that are exporting now increases to 20,000. It should, and it has to. You have to get your competitive house in order, as do all the other states in this country, and that is one way to do it.
First of all, thank you. I think it's been a great speech. My question, what would you already said what would you talk about with the governor. What would be your advice for professionals, young professionals, for the ones that are now going to the universities, for them to be able to help United States compete in a global economy?
I'm really glad you asked me that. I have two sons, one who just graduated from university. I gave him lots of advice. He listened to none of it. So I love it when people do ask me for advice. And I would say, get your passport and get out of this country and understand cultures, learn other languages. And it is very, very important that we understand that we can't just live within this border anymore. And I tell businesses to do the same thing. Instead of emailing or get on the phone, get on a plane, get your passport, get on a plane, and go to these countries and meet these people personally, because it's the only way that you're going to figure out what these relationships are, where you're going to succeed, and where you're going to fail. So I would encourage you to get as much international experience, learn languages, and get that passport.
Isn't Buy America really strategically and tactically kind of help you out? Kind of a good cop, bad cop thing to show the outrage of the American people, and you can kind of be the intermediary saying, hey, this is why we need agreements. Isn't it kind of a good thing right now to maybe have that in place, even if in the long run it's not the best policy, it does kind of help in negotiation?
We have plenty of things to help us in negotiation. There's plenty of controversy out there. The Buy America clause worries me. As I said, we got the language changed, and we're pleased by that. But the ratifications have been enormous from countries all over the world. And if we're going to limit the ability of international companies to come in and compete fairly, then they're going to limit our ability to compete in their countries as well. I'd just as soon have a positive angle to this. We don't need any more challenges. Thank you very much. But it's an interesting theory.
You mentioned Ohio as being one of the 3 states chosen for some special attention. I was wondering what their criteria for that was and how it was selected.
The Trade Routes program has been in existence almost 10 years, and every year we have selected states around the country where we want to develop a strategic plan and in order to leverage resources. And we have focused a great deal on the Southeast and Texas, sort of throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee. And we've done that mainly because we've had limited resources and it was an easier geographic area to travel to, et cetera. And we realized that we have not spent enough time in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Louisiana we chose because we actually had a strategic plan that had been developed. We had the governor that was doing a press conference, and it was the day of Katrina. So they had asked us to come back. So that's why we're going to Louisiana. We have a wonderful network, our state chambers throughout the state, and a great many resources in the state. And so we just felt it was time to come to Ohio. We also realize very strongly that you have suffered. You have high unemployment, but you have a very positive story to tell. And so we have had one strategic planning session. We're going to have another one, and you will see some sort of a launch sometime probably in the fall when we announce really what this campaign of education and communication is going to be. And we'll have, as I said, we started in Pennsylvania this week, and we got lots of very positive media, and the stories were amazing. Several companies, I'll give you an example, York Wall Covering in York, Pennsylvania, the largest manufacturer of wallpaper in the northern hemisphere. And their biggest customer is China. And they see a 20% growth exporting wallpaper to China. These are great stories. They're employing 260 people. They see increasing those numbers. I know those stories are all over the state of Ohio, and so those are the stories that we want to tell. So it's merely Ohio is falling into place right now, and I think it's a perfect time for us to come here and talk about, again, not focus on the failures of American business, but focus on the successes and the opportunities out there. Of course, always talking about the challenges and always discussing the issues that companies are facing and going into these international markets. But you'll see a lot of us over the course of the next year or so. Like it or not, we'll be here. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for being with us. You know, we talk a little bit about the changing face of this world. I was listening to Congressman Bonner. He gave a speech, and he said, you know, in the next 10 minutes I'll be speaking and ending my speech. There'll be about 60 babies born in America. During that same 10 minutes, there'll be about 250 born in China, and then that same 10-minute period, about 360 babies born in India. And you think about the changing face of this world and globalization and what's going on. And if you do believe in the law of large numbers, which I do, it will certainly change how our whole world functions. Well, thank you very much. Today at the City Club of Cleveland Forum, we've been listening to Leslie Schweitzer, Senior Advisor to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Ms. Schweitzer. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The forum is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.